Miss O and welcome once again to my class where learning English is easy peasy.
Let's eat grammar!
Are you serious? You can't eat your grandmother. That's really scary. Or do you mean this?
Let's eat, Grandma!
Confused? I guess this is the best time for us to talk about the different functions of commas. But before we start, please don't forget to click like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get notified of all my lessons. The comma is a light or mild separator that is the most neutral and the most used punctuation mark. In other words, we use commas to separate words, phrases, and clauses from each other. Basically, there are three main functions of commas. If you know how commas are used, then you should have little trouble with commas. Let's talk about its first main function. Read these sentences without a comma and a coordinating conjunction. We went to Plaza Mayor. We walked to the Royal Palace in Madrid. I can't swim. I love going to the beach. To combine the first two sentences, we use a comma between independent clauses joined by a coordinating conjunction such as and, but, or, nor, for, yet, so. For example, we went to Plaza Mayor and then we walked to the Royal Palace in Madrid. We can also combine the second two sentences by doing the same. For example, I can't swim, but I love going to the beach. Those highlighted in yellow are independent clauses that can stand alone. Remember that an independent clause is a clause that can form a complete sentence standing alone, having a subject and a predicate. Another main function of a comma is to separate items in a series of three or more. For example, it is said that early to bed and early to rise will make one healthy, wealthy, and wise. Another example, Christina Aguilera, Alicia Keys, and Beyoncé are famous American singers. Last but not least, we use commas to set off parenthetical elements such as interruptive or introductory words, phrases and clauses, non-essential appositives, or non-essential relative clauses. Here is an example of an interruptive or introductory words with a comma in it. There are, however, some exceptions. We also have this phrase and clause using a comma. According to Cecilia, good friends who write well are not easy to find. We also use a comma in non-restrictive or non-essential appositives. From the term non-essential, this means that they can be omitted from a sentence without obscuring the identity of the nouns they describe. For example, the Eiffel Tower, Gustave Eiffel's masterpiece, can be found on the Champ de Mars. Another example, caffè latte, meaning coffee and milk in Italian, is a popular hot coffee beverage in North America. Let's now talk about the other conventional uses of the comma. Number 1. Use a comma between elements of an emphatic contrast. For example, this is a practical lesson, not a theoretical one. Number 2. Use a comma to indicate a pause where a word has been acceptably omitted. So instead of saying to err is human, to forgive is divine, we can replace is with a comma. That is, to err is human, to forgive divine. Number 3. Use a comma to set off a noun of address. For example, ladies and gentlemen, the play is about to begin. Another example. Let's eat, Grandma. Number 4. Use commas with a verb of speaking before or after a quotation. For example, there was a storm last night, Yuna said. Or you can also say, Yuna said there was a storm last night. Number 5. Use commas after the salutation of informal letters and after the complementary close of all letters. Take note that while informal letters use a comma after the salutation, formal letters, on the other hand, use a colon after the salutation. For example, Dear Gail, that's the salutation of an informal letter. And then we also have Yours truly, that's the complementary close of an informal letter. What have you noticed? Yes, both of them end with commas. Now observe the salutation and the complementary close of a formal letter. We have Dear Dr. Reyes. Yes, it ends with a colon. And how about the complementary close? Respectfully yours. Very good observation. It ends with a comma. Number 6. Use commas with dates. In writing dates, different forms are acceptable. For example, my father was born on October 15, 1926. Or you can also write it this way. My father was born on 15 October 1926. Notice that the last sentence does not require a comma after the date. Whichever style you choose, consistency is the key. When referring only to a month and year, you may or you may not use a comma. But again, be consistent. For example, the book was published in March 2007 in France, or the book was published in March 2007 in France. And number 7, use commas to set off geographical names and addresses. For example, I left Manila, Philippines, and moved to California, USA, in hopes of finding a better paying job. Please take note of the commas after the names of the countries. That's all for Miss L's English class today. If you like this video, please click like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell button to get notified for the next video.